Hey guys, my name is Andre,
And I'm Julia.
and today we're gonna tell you our stories.
Story
And
of my life.
stories, because there's both of us. It's a little bit sad, but
Yeah,
it's fine.
it's life.
Um,
Everybody has life.
yes.
Okay. So I'm gonna start when I'm born. I can't say it right. My mother was pregnant with me when she was 17. So she got pregnant when she was 16, and then something like that. And then she got pregnant with Andre like a year and a half later. And yeah, there we
Sure,
are.
you're not.
Yeah, it's like because you're like year and a half older. I mean, younger than me.
That's true. He's
younger.
almost 18, and I'm 16.
I'm 18.
Yes.
Almost.
When
Yay!
she was pregnant with me, our dad he tried to help his friend because he got in a fight, and so police, of course, they thought he was the one who
Beat
got in a
him up.
fight too and stuff like that.
Because he
And
had
so-
blood on his hands,
Yes,
so he
they
thought he
arrested
beat up
him.
that guy.
They arrested him and his brothers, and so
He got in jail.
he went there for 6 or 7 months, something like
Mhm.
that, and he got sick with
He had
tuberculosis.
tuberculosis.
Yes, and
It's really easy for prisoners to pick up tuberculosis in jail because it's like bad atmosphere.
and plus it's in Ukraine, so that nobody
it's
cares about
worse.
jail.
There's no rules in
No.
it. Like everything is illegal, and
Nobody cares because they still do legal stuff.
police
and so,
is not very good in here.
yes, what happened if he got sick, and about probably a year later, doctor said that he'll live more a year or two later. But when I was one in 1999, that's when he died. And then our mom went, and which is kind of funny, she got married with his brother,
That's ridiculous.
which is named Andre too. So
Yeah, she got married to our dad's brother, and we lived
Yes.
with him for like
a year.
three.
maybe?
No,
Oh.
it wasn't even that much. It was like 3-4 months.
Oh.
He was really nice. We really like him. He was like, he took care of us. He bought our toys, and he was really fun. Yeah, and then our mother disappeared. Like
Yes.
we lived 3 months with our new stepdad, which is kind of our family, even though he wasn't, because he's did you know he would be like our uncle, like our
Uncle Dad.
is our stepdad. It's so
Yes.
weird. Oh my gosh, that's crazy. Anyway, and actually later on, our mom dated, or
Our other uncle,
yeah, like
which our
his
dad's
other brother.
too. Yeah, there's
So she
three of
dated
them.
all of 3 brothers.
I didn't know any of them.
It just
only knew
runs in
one.
the family. Yeah, well, our dad was I was probably 3 or 4. I was 4 when he died. So me and Andre, we didn't really know him or remember him much. So, but we lived with our stepdad Andre for about 3-4 months, and then he took us back. He lived in different cities, so we were there, and then he took us back to our aunt. So, cause he couldn't, like, nobody knew where our mom was, and she did drugs and alcohol, so it was pretty bad.
She came later, but it was like when I was 5 or when I was 6. I just came into. I was sick with tuberculosis too, but
He had like first stage, which is
treatable.
treatable, yeah.
And so I got treated, but it took me a really long time. It took me 2 years or something like that. Which she was with me too, and I remember this moment. I don't know why. I just remember it so great. I mean, it was so sad too. When
don't know
I
what
was
she's
at a
talking
hospital,
about.
it wasn't really a hospital, but
It was like it wasn't
it
like
was weird.
it wasn't like a
hospital.
rehab, but it's like in the woods, and it has nice fresh air. It's for kids, and you stay there, kind of like a hospital, only a little bit nicer. Like it has game room and
Yeah, well, you could stay there.
play
You don't have to
outside.
go. Like you can stay there for a year. Well, I stayed there for a year.
I don't think
twice.
you stay there for a year.
I did. I'm pretty sure.
It was
I did.
less than a year.
Well, I don't remember how long
I don't
it was.
think
It was like
Year is a long time. I don't think that was long.
I was too small. I don't remember.
Yeah.
But I remember they came and we were eating borscht, which is Ukrainian food,
Very
and
good.
so they took her, I think, back to grandpa, and I was so sad I wouldn't eat, and I had my little lion, and it was like with those little bitty things inside them, when I don't know what they call it, and so I would always just hug it. I was so small, I would just hug it, and I would just cry into it because she left me, and yeah, I was
Oh,
sad
I
for
don't
a
even
few
know
days.
that. That's so sad.
Yeah, I was never tell you
I'm
that.
so sorry.
And yeah, that happened, and then I came a year later, and so yeah, I saw my mom in a rope thing, whatever it's called. You were,
Well, it wasn't. No, she was there. You came back after the treatable. You came back,
she was
and
there.
I was living with my grandfather, and Andre was in.
Hi. Sorry, guys. And yes, we both lived with our grandpa, but let's see, I left later with her. But because when I came, she was like cooking, and I was like, oh, look at this strange woman in our house, and yeah, and so that was our mom, and so we met her, and then later things didn't work out, and then I went with her to a different city, and she betrayed me and stayed with her grandpa, which wasn't really betrayal. I understand. I should have done that too, actually.
I wanted to stay in my school.
And so my life was really different from her life because I didn't really have a home, and she did, which I mean I'm happy for her, happy for my little sister, which is
I was bigger.
yes.
Mom was bigger.
I mean, yeah, it was rough few years, but we got back, and then yeah, it worked out pretty good. Not first, but then it worked out pretty good. But it was hard. I really never knew her because I was too small to remember her. And later, I mean, I just never lived with her. I lived with my aunt a lot, I moved there a lot of times actually. I lived with my cousin Anya. She was really sweet, and she's her age. She's like 18 right now or something like that. And yeah, that was yeah. And then we went to shelter for a year.
Yeah.
For a year. We were like 9. I was 9. I remember that. And then we went to Father House. Which, thank you for the house. And then
Wait, Father House is probably nobody knows about it. In Ukraine, there is
it's a special home for kids who don't have a family.
it's like
They
a
go there.
foster care house. They have one house, like they have two houses on their like territory. They build two houses. One is like a condo, big 3 floors, like super huge house, and people who work there is a Christian organization, and they go to different shelters, and because the shelter that we stayed in, you only stay there for a year, and then
you
you
move
have
on.
to
It's like school. You
go
graduate from it, and then you move on to a different house, which was like 5 stories building. We lived in the 5th floor. We had like other 10 kids in our family.
4th floor. There's a 5 floors.
Oh, 4th floor.
You live okay. When we go, sorry. When
Oh, yeah,
from
I
shelter, we went to Father House, and we lived in the first house for like a year. You lived there a year, and we went. I went to school in the village, and he went to school with me there too.
But I did 2 grades at the same time because when I lived with my mom, I would never do school because there was no money enough and stuff like that. And so I had to do 3rd, 4th grade at the same time, and then 5th I went to school.
And then after a year living in the first like rehabilitation's house,
Moved
you moved to a foster family house.
where there's only 2 teachers and there's like 10 other kids.
Well, there's not. It's not teachers. They like hire
yes,
a real
like your
couple.
mom and dad.
They hire a real couple. So they might have their kids, or some of them have kids that is after college, don't live with them anymore, and they would live there. It's like their job. They get paid, but they also live there, and like you have to. They're trying to give you an image of a family, so you live in this apartment a bunch of different kids, and they like your parent.
So they'll pretty much get paid for being a parent, for teaching a lot of kids.
Okay, that's their
family.
job, but they don't get paid much at all. Like,
Yeah,
they barely survive on what they get paid, and the good thing that they don't have to pay
rent and stuff like
rent
that.
and stuff, because they would not have enough money for that, because it's mostly a volunteer work. You really have to. It's kind of like if God called you to do it, that's it when you do it, because it's really, and lives like it just, you live with a bunch of other kids, you're just raising kids that is not your kids, but you have to get to know them, and you know it's really nice, those people who work there, and dedicate their life to that, because it takes, some families work there for a long time, for years.
Yeah.
So that's really nice. And I actually got saved when I was 12 years old. We were still in the shelter. When we were in shelter, I went to church one time. It was the first time I visited church, and I got saved that night. From that, that was like great time for me, and now I'm so glad that I have Jesus now in my life. It's much better for me this way. And okay, so I prayed for about 2 years for a family, and in 2010.
One time, can I tell this one? So this family came to adopt Masha. Masha is now our cousin. Don't think about it too hard.
Her name in American, her name is Maria.
Maria, yes. And so they had a brother, or they had a sister, and she was married to this guy.
Wait,
pastor.
you have to. Maria's parents, David and Michelle. David has a sister.
Yes, that's what I just said.
Okay.
And she was married to this guy, Greg. He was a pastor of a church. They had 4 kids already.
4 boys.
Yes, they adopted us in 2012.
11.
Yeah, that's true. 2011 and July 12th. That's when we flight here. I remember that really good. And yes, that was when our lives really changed a lot.
It did, because now we live in America and we are Americans. Now we are officially. It's been 3 years since we live in America. Also, we still had the challenges in our life, even though we were adopted and we live in America and we have parents.
First one was to learn English. When I came, I didn't know any English at all, so it was really hard. She knew some English, but sometimes I'm better at her English than. That's very true. And I don't have an accent that she does. And so what happened to us is there's some things in life that, well, let's see, our lives from going down and up, it went up and then they dropped down because Jody, which was our mom, she left us. It was a long story. Don't worry about it. Everything worked out. But she left, and it was a really, really hard year. We had to move. We had to sell our house. We had to leave our friends, which we miss you a lot. All of it, yeah. And so that happened, and it was really hard for all of us. It was really hard for our dad with not having a job, because you can't really get a job when you're divorced. It's people.
It's because he was a pastor.
Yes.
Not just like if you're divorced, any job, you cannot get any job. No, when you're a pastor,
you can only get one job. It's
really
pastor.
Hard.
Yes.
And the reason she wanted a divorce is not anything our dad did, or it has nothing to do with anybody else in the family except her.
Yes.
She is actually she is sick. She has a celiac. If everybody who doesn't know celiac, it means you are allergic to bread. So you cannot eat anything that contains gluten.
Wheat, soy, and...
No, soy is not it. But
So it's kind of weird too.
wheat, which you cannot eat bread. You cannot eat
You cannot eat a lot of things. Let's just put it
a
that
lot.
way. Yes.
Absolutely. And she had it for like 17 years or so. And at first she didn't know that she had it. And she ate bread for a long time. And she was hurting. Usually your stomach hurts and you get weak. And she also had fibromyalgia. And she also had a lot of different stuff that came with it that make her really sick. And then it was like if you have it for a very long time, and at some point you get
You get to the point where you're old
like
and
your brain.
yes,
It's not has nothing to do with old, because
Well,
you
that's
had
what
it for
doctors
so
say.
long, and then like I guess depression or something strike, and
you just lose your
you
mind. pretty
can
much.
your brain is swallows up, so you cannot think right anymore. Like it's so weird. It's hard for us to understand the first time, and I'm sure there's still for some of us it's hard to understand that. But it's like she acts normal,
But
like
she's
she's
not
not
herself.
like she's not crazy. Like she control herself. She has a job. Or some, I think so, maybe, I'm not sure, but
Yeah.
she does all the stuff like normal people do, but her decisions now are just like absolutely weird and not at all what
Not the same Jody that
not
we
the
knew when we
same,
got
yeah,
adopted.
person. Like she's a different person now, which is so weird to understand.
Yeah, don't try too
It's
hard.
hard.
Just,
It's hard to understand that. But so yeah, she is sick and she wanted divorce, and our dad tried to fight it, and
for let's see,
probably a year, almost
yeah,
a year.
9 months or something like that. It was a really long time. He tried it so hard,
You
but
know,
we
we tried
knew it
to,
wasn't gonna work out. So.
and it was hard because she didn't want to like contact us. Anyway, so
So
that happened.
yeah, we had to move. We had to start a new school, find new friends, which was hard because we never went to school. We were
Like a
always
public
homeschooled.
school.
Yeah, public
We
school.
were homeschooled. Yeah.
So for me and Seth and Julia, it was really hard. For me, mostly because my English was still kind of bad.
Rough.
It was not bad. It was pretty good, but still, it was rough reading, and some of the words are just
spelling,
like
grammar.
huge. So it was
Like,
really
we
hard
can-
for me
Yeah.
to go to school. But Seth was like amazing in school,
He's very
but
smart.
it was just yeah, we didn't feel right. There was up and downs, and in that year, a lot of things happened that shouldn't happen, but everything turned out good. We have Rhonda now. She's our new mom.
Yeah, our dad got remarried, which is
Yes.
like, God bless us with Rhonda, and
she's
she's
really
an
good. She's
amazing
really
woman, and she's probably, the best mother or friend or person that I have ever met, you know.
Yeah.
And our dad got a job, and
We moved again, of course.
we moved again, but and there is a good things about moving too. I know Andre don't like to move because he don't like to leave his friends. I don't like it either. Sometimes you get really comfortable in one place and you already have things that you're doing, and I really enjoyed. I was singing in my church youth group
I
in a
mean,
band.
I played video games. That's all I did. 20. I mean, the year that we were there, I stayed in my room, listened to music, and pretty much, I did not try to contact the world at all. I was like, okay, world, move this way, and it's my own time now. And I'm still the same way. I'm still in my room, pretty much all the time, and I never really go out and talk to people. Still,
Which is ridiculous. Told him you should do that more.
it's too much work. I don't really like people anyway, so. Yeah, this is making a video for me is really new because I don't really I don't do these things. So she would make 20 of them if she could.
That's not true.
Dude, so true. Yeah. So well, now we are all back together. We have it. Mom, our dad has a job. We moved again, which is good. We have a house now. We live. Four of us live together now because. Four.
Yeah, that's right.
Luke works, so Luke is one of our
Well,
brothers.
okay, when we were adopted, since they already had 4 boys, me plus 2, it was 6 children. So we had 6
Do the
children,
math.
and we had a big family. So our older brother Caleb, he's 22 now. He's not living with us anymore because he's too old. Okay, and then our brother Luke is
He's
18.
Yes, he has
He's
a
gonna
job,
be-
so he.
Yeah,
stayed there
he stayed in the place that we were living before we moved here.
with our grandpa and grandma.
Yeah, he lives with our grandparents, and he has a job there, and he's gonna be 19 in October. And then our brother Timothy lives with us. He's 20. I don't know why he still lives with us, but he still lives with us.
He'll go to college next year.
He's
Seth
gonna go to college.
he's 15.
Yeah.
Oh no, he's 14 right now, but he will turn 15 like
In
September
September.
10th, which is really close. So I should probably buy him a present.
Yeah.
And
Or not.
so, yeah. So that's pretty much our whole life. So
Yeah.
thanks for listening, and
I hope we didn't scare you too much. But God blesses us in a good way, and we're very glad.
we're happy. Yeah.
Yeah. Thank you, God.
And
Okay. Well, thanks for watching this video, and you can subscribe if you like it.
Like this video. Like our
And
video. Follow us on Twitter.
And you can ask us questions and whatever you want us to do video about. Yeah. Just chilling like a villain. One of the pickup lines or something that boy told me one time. I thought it was so hilarious.
Okay, well, thanks guys for watching, and we'll see you next time.
Bye.